You're watching India Today Go Live. I'm Nabila Jamal, bringing you the roundup of the day's news. Let me start with West Bengal, the poll-bound state. We're looking at massive showdown as Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of West Bengal, decides to take on her former close aide Suvendu Adhikari from the same turf that Suvendu Adhikari has won consecutively. Nandigram, that's the contentious seat here when Mamata Banerjee has filed her nomination today. It is very important because Nandigram is a seat where Mamata Banerjee agitated back in 2007 against the left rule and some corruption allegations, land acquisition at that point of time. And the TMC there came with a roaring victory in Nandigram. Now, over a decade later, it seems like the same Nandigram has now grabbed headlines and will go down in history yet again, with Mamata Banerjee now deciding to stand from Nandigram against Suvendu Adhikari, who was once with the TMC. Suvendu Adhikari is now with the BJP. He's going to be filing his nomination on the 12th. Today, Mamata Banerjee filed her nomination. It's very interesting to see how Mamata Banerjee is now pulling out all her Hindu cards. She's speaking about Hindutva, about how she is a Hindu girl and stressing on her Hindu surname and whatnot. She's also gone to many temples, visited many temples in Nandigram, surveyed the entire constituency, met with a lot of people, made chai, drank chai with people and the public on ground. So a real strong ground connect that Mamata Banerjee is trying to build in Nandigram after years. In fact, Suvendu Adhikari, on the other hand, says that Mamata Banerjee is an opportunist. The BJP leaders call her Chunavi Hindu, which means right around the election time, Mamata Banerjee dons the Hindu hat, but until then she is anti-Hindu. Suvendu Adhikari says if Mamata Banerjee comes to power, then Hindus in West Bengal will be under threat. And then, of course, he accused her of chanting Muslim religious slogans ahead of polls to please the Muslim voters, while now she's jumped to the Hindutva campaign. So we're looking at some really heated duel between the two. Mamata Banerjee, of course, is carrying out her rally after rally. She's been visiting nook and corner of Nandigram, meeting several people there and invoking the 2007 agitation that really brought the TMC to power. Speaking about how she has a public connect, pro-farmer connect, and of course trying to connect with people on ground, while Suvendu Adhikari claims that Mamata Banerjee disappeared right after the 2016 assembly polls. She never visited Nandigram at all, and now because of the elections she's come back because she wants to fight here and win here. Remember, Mamata Banerjee, it's not an easy it's not an easy win for her or a fight for her this time. She could very well lose as well, looking at the sentiment, growing anti-TMC sentiment. Well, it might not be a pro-BJP sentiment, but it's certainly, we are looking at a pro or an anti-TMC sentiment that we see extensively over law and order issues, developmental and infrastructural work, which people claim on ground is lacking. So several issues that the TMC is already receiving flack for, and it could be anti-incumbency as well. People are possibly looking for a new leadership. Will BJP really make the cut here? Remains to be seen. Of course, Mamata Banerjee is trying and struggling really hard. She's put all her force and her focus on ground in Nandigram to ensure Suvendu Adhikari's defeat. Now we're looking at Suvendu Adhikari, of course, going to be filing his nomination on the 12th, while we're looking at Mamata Banerjee, who's filed her nomination today. Like I did mention, she's visited several Shiv temples. Now this, in fact, we're looking at Ram Mandir politics across of India. We're seeing it even in Karnataka. I'll take you to that story a little later, but we're looking at Mamata Banerjee now invoking Ram, invoking Lord Shiv. She's visited several temples there. So here, Suvendu Adhikari, of course, has turned the heat on Mamata, saying that this is just fake and she's just pulling out the Hindu Dharma campaign only because it's election time. Otherwise, Hindus are going to struggle under her governance. Now, even Congress's Bengal chief, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, there took quite a jibe at Mamata Banerjee, accusing her of indulging in competitive Hindutva politics after wearing a burqa and appeasing Muslims. He says yesterday West Bengal Chief Minister Banerjee called herself a Hindu girl and hit back at BJP's charge of being anti-Hindu. So on one hand, Mamata Banerjee is pleasing Muslims by wearing a burqa. On the other, she is now pleasing Hindus by chanting Hindu slogans. Now, of course, if you really look at it as a sensible person, you would look at this as a political gimmick. Undoubtedly, you're a politician, you want to appease various sections of the society and different religious vote base as well. So Mamata Banerjee is being a hardcore politician. She's appeasing to the Muslims, she's appeasing to the Hindus. Of course, the BJP taking a chance here, hitting out at her dual stance. Now, let me cut across to Kerala. We're looking at heated, Kerala largely would have been quite a peaceful election with not much of a challenge here, because it's usually either the LDF that comes to power or the UDF. So a government actually winning 2 terms is a rarity. They take turns. It's either the LDF or the UDF. It's one after the other that they come to power. And Kerala voters are really hard to please, So this time we're looking at the LDF, which is in power. Pinarayi Vijayan's government is already eyeing at a second term. He's quite hopeful after the local body polls that they swept. He's quite hopeful that the LDF will come to power this time. Of course, the CPIM-led LDF. We're looking at Pinarayi Vijayan now, struggling hard to keep his boat afloat and ensure a victory for the second time. While this happens, on one hand, the LDF seems to be gaining a lot of strength and might. It seems like a double hit for Rahul Gandhi and the Congress-led UDF. We're looking at now PC Chako, one of the veterans of the Congress party, a loyalist to the party, an admirer of the Gandhi family. He's been there for decades within the Congress. He's now resigned from the Congress party, saying that even though he always wanted to be a congressman, he's now finding it hard to function within the party because of a central character. He's, of course, targeted Rahul Gandhi here. Clearly, it seems like PC Chako is not, he's not satisfied with the role that he's been given. Possibly here, he feels that he's been sidelined. He feels that there's a lot that he could have done, but he has not been considered and whatnot, and therefore he resigns from the party. He's not given clear reasons, but it appears from what he's saying that he is very unhappy with the working of the Congress currently, and he quits. Now, whether he's going to join the BJP or whether he's going to join the CPIM-led LDF, that remains to be seen. But it's interesting to know that now PC Chako has quit, and it comes as a big blow to the Congress, which is already reeling under some MLAs already quitting from the Congress in Wayanad as well. We're looking at a few defections that took place also in Kerala from the Congress to the BJP. So it's hard for the Congress's UDF now to pick up, but undoubtedly they seem quite confident. They've carried out this Aishwarya Kerala Yatra, which seems to have got quite some traction on ground. The Congress seems quite confident. Let's see how that pans out. Now we're cutting across to the Khattar government in Haryana. They're facing a trust vote. They're facing a trust vote in the assembly. A new confidence motion which the Congress has now moved over the farm law showdown. A discussion has taken place. No confidence motion is currently which was underway. It was voting that had to take place after the discussions. We're looking at the opposition leaders and former Haryana Chief Minister Bhupendra Hooda, who says that the government didn't fulfill the promises that were made to the farmers and the farming community. The government has ignored the grievances of the farmers. They're not promising MSP to the farmers, and even want APM. They want to ensure that there is no monopoly to the APMC system in Haryana. So, of course, we're looking at hardcore opposition push on the sitting government, the BJP government there in Haryana. No confidence motion that they want to move, but doesn't seem like it is really going to pose a threat to the BJP government. The BJP is in alliance with the JJP there, and they have the support of at least 56 MLAs, including independents and smaller allies. It appears that they will emerge through this strong, but nonetheless they are facing some kind of push from the opposition over the farm laws there in Haryana. Now, cutting across to Uttarakhand, we know that Uttarakhand's chief minister, he resigned. Tirath Singh Rawat, he resigned. Beg your pardon. He is now roped in as the new chief minister of Uttarakhand. This is after the previous chief minister had to resign, Trivendra Singh Rawat. He had to resign because he faced quite some opposition within his own party. Many of the MLAs, MPs of the BJP did not like his style of functioning. They were opposed to his idea or his plan of organizing the Kumbh Mela in a particular way. They were not very satisfied with the functioning of it, and Kumbh Mela is something that the BJP wants to showcase as their poll plank, for the upcoming assembly elections in Uttarakhand, which is in the following year. We're looking at a sitting Grawal MP, Tirath Singh Rawat, now swears in as the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. Of course, much deliberations within the BJP units. BJP top leaders JP Nadda, Amit Shah, they've all discussed and then given this man Tirath Singh Rawat his position as the Chief Minister. He of course says that he's very thankful, he never expected such a big post. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also has congratulated him on this new role. He's going to be the Chief Minister for 1 year, and then after that elections will carry on. Names of also Union Minister, before his name was roped in, names of also Union Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal and Satpal Maharaj were also, they also appeared as front runners here, but it seems like Tirath Singh Rawat won this vote, internal vote within the BJP, and he was given the responsibility of being the Chief Minister for a year. Now let's move on to Tamil Nadu politics. They're heating up. We're looking at seat sharing agreements now finally settling down. It seems like AIDMK and the BJP and the PMK as much. Now DMDK, Captain Vijaykant, DMDK was also part of the BJP AIDMK alliance, but now he was very upset. Captain Vijaykant was not very satisfied with the seat allotment, and therefore he's withdrawn his support to the alliance, and he's quit from the AIADMK and the BJP alliance. And now we're looking at the AIADMK, the ruling AIADMK and the BJP now coming together again to redistribute these 14 seats which ideally went to the DMDK. So now they're again trying to understand who will be contesting from these 14 seats which the DMDK has given up. Now they are not going to pacify the DMDK, they are not going to run after them. They believe that this will not affect them or bother them too much. Now it remains to be seen who DMDK will ally post this. On the other hand, we're looking at AIDMK allotting 20 seats to the BJP in Tamil Nadu and 23 seats to the PMK. Now with 14 more seats up for grabs, it remains to be seen who it's going to be going out to. Let me quickly cut across. I'm going to tell you a little bit of the seat sharing equation here in Tamil Nadu. We're looking at AIDMK that's given out, like I mentioned, 20 to the BJP. They've given 23 seats to the PMK. A quick seat sharing arrangement here, if I can take you through. Here we're looking at DMK now. DMK, of course, wanting to contest from about 150, 140, 154 seats to be precise. Here we're looking at the DMK now giving 25 seats to the Congress. Remember, Congress also wanted 41 seats, but DMK is now only giving 25 seats to the Congress. And Vaiko's MDMK, which is an ally of the DMK and the Congress, is now going to be given 6 seats, which they will be fighting from the DMK symbol. VCK is now also fighting from 6 seats there. The CPI and the CPIM have been allotted 6 seats each. So that's the equation there. Kamal Hassan's Makal Nidhi Mayam. That's a big update there, a big news coming in that Kamal Hassan's MNM is going to be allying with SDPI in Tamil Nadu, and 18 seats will be given to the SDPI, while 154 seats will be contested by the MNM. So we're also looking at he's tied up with SMK. Makal Nidhi Mayam, Kamal Hassan's party is tied up with Sarath Kumar's SMK as well, and the India Janagaya Kachi, which is allotted about 40 seats to each of the parties there, which means Kamal will be fighting 154 seats. So TTV Dinakaran now is also allied with AIMIM. How many seats they're going to be contesting, that needs to be clear yet. So we are looking at some intense developments there in Tamil Nadu. It seems like now with SDPI and Kamal Hassan coming together, it might just dent the DMK and the Congress alliance, because SDPI will eat into the Muslim votes, and then you also have TTV Dinakaran and AIMIM. Again, AIMIM will eat into the Muslim votes. Now, Muslim votes largely goes to the Congress and its allies. In fact, even the DMK and the Congress both somehow garner up the Muslim vote share. Now, with AIMIM in the fray, with SDPI in the fray, it seems like it's just going to be quite a dampener for the DMK and the DMK and the Congress alliance. Now, let me quickly take you through. We're looking at vaccine distribution. I want to tell you that India has really made us so proud. The government has made us so proud. While they have distributed vaccines, Indian vaccines, to at least 65 nations across the globe. So this is a massive feat that the Narendra Modi government has pulled off. Well, many of the countries, even the WHO has praised India's efforts. India has distributed nearly 5.5 crore vaccines to 65 nations. In these 5.5 crores, at least 75 lakh vaccines were given out for free Many of the countries that couldn't afford it were given 75 lakh odd vaccines for free. The rest of the vaccines were of course charged at a very subsidized rate. Several countries, let me take you through: Nepal, Bhutan, Maldives, that way for that matter even African countries like Congo, Nigeria. We're looking at rich nations for that matter like United Kingdom has also taken Indian vaccines, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia. Here we're looking at least 5.8 crore doses of the vaccines that's been given out. Like I mentioned, 7.35 lakh has been given out as free vaccines. It was a gift. 3.38 crores were exported on commercial basis, and another 1.63 crores were provided to the WHO to administer vaccines in low-income countries as part of the COVAX alliance. Many of the countries that aren't able to afford it go through the WHO. So it's a huge feat, and we're so proud that India has emerged as the savior of the world, if I could say that. I'm really proud to say that. All right, more or less, we've rounded up here. I would like to wrap here with a very sad news that came in from Bengaluru. A young girl was actually punched on the face by a Zomato executive, a Zomato delivery executive there. He reached at the doorstep of that girl's house, and it was much after what they had promised. She had ordered for food at 3:30 p.m. The food, not sure what exact time that the food came in, but the delivery time that was promised was 4:30 p.m. It was 1 hour that the food would take to deliver, but the food came much after that. So the girl tried hard to get to the customer care, called the customer care, was trying to negotiate with them that she does not want the order anymore because it's much beyond 1 hour that was promised by Zomato, and therefore she wants to cancel this order. And we're looking at this delivery executive, frustrated or whatever it is, turning into a criminal and punching this girl so hard that she now has multiple fractures on her nose. She put up a video on social media there, and it's now gone viral. Of course, Zomato is looking into it, and they're yet to issue an apology on that. On that note, I'd like to say take care. Have a great day.